Hello out there, Interwebers! We are Gaming for Couples, a husband and wife team that want to bring you our suggestions and thoughts about the best games to play with that special somebody in your life. Games that are fun for game watchers and game players, and games that you can play together. We are very excited to bring you our very first video, Why Your Relationship Needs Persona 5.
First, the basics. If you're not familiar with the game in general, Persona 5 is a Japanese-style role-playing game, or JRPG, developed by Atlus, starring the protagonist, a 16-year-old Japanese kid living in Tokyo whose name is, well, whatever you'd like it to be. As an RPG, you're dropped into the role of the main character and encouraged to live his life and make all the choices presented to him as you would if you were in his shoes. And now is a perfect time to get interested in Persona 5 because not only is it available on the PS4, it's also coming soon to the Nintendo Switch. Oh, wait
Unfortunately for the ladies out there, due to the nature of the story and the characters, the protagonist has to be a male. There's no option to choose to play as a girl. But don't be too disappointed because there will still be plenty for both a watcher and a player to do, as you can work together to decide who to spend time with and even date. You can pick characters who remind you of your own relationship or that you just find interesting together.
So what will you be doing as this Japanese high schooler? Well, a lot of the time you'll be attending Japanese high school. But that's more interesting than it sounds, because the friends you'll make and spend time with aren't just text boxes and character models. These are extremely well-written characters that will surprise you, make you laugh, and evoke a genuine connection with you. This is also made more interesting by the choices you must make about how to spend your day.
You only have a limited time to spend in the game. And the time you spend with one friend is time you won't be spending with another friend, or studying for school or learning new skills. So there's a consequence with each choice, which gives the watcher something interesting to do as well. Not only will your watcher form the same connection and bond with the characters that the player will, they can also help you choose what to do on each of your limited days in Tokyo, which helps them feel very involved and part of your experience. There's a variety of interesting characters to hang out with, some of which you'll like right away, some of which will grow on you over time, and some of which you'll love so much you'll want to date them immediately. Speaking of which, you can date almost any of the girls you come in contact with in the game. And even though some of the relationships are a bit unconventional, they are all worth looking into. Except Haru. Just be careful, because like everything else in the game, who you date and when can have consequences.
The other part of the time that you're not a regular teenager, you'll be acting with your friends as a cross between a superhero and a thief, working within an alternate world to change the hearts and minds of evil people who make the mistake of crossing your path. This section of the game is classic JRPG dungeon crawling, complete with turn-based combat, a party of characters to swap in and out, and monsters with different strengths and weaknesses. The well-designed combat, stealthy nature of the dungeons, gorgeous visuals, unique puzzles to solve, and the game's eye-catching sense of style means that this will never get old, even for the watcher, despite the fact that this game is long. So you'll be spending a lot of time with these characters and places, to the point where you might end up looking like this.
But why are you a Japanese teenager dating all the girls and doing all the JRPGs? Well, the story is a big part of this game, and it's good. I won't venture into any spoiler territory, at least nothing more than I've already said. But the short version is that your life gets turned upside down. You're convicted of a crime you didn't commit, mostly, and you're sent to live with a friend of your parents in Tokyo, away from your hometown for 1 year, hence the limit on the time you have in game to spend doing things. Shortly after you arrive, you discover the existence of a parallel world like yours, but one which is shaped by humanity's wants and desires. You find a way to control this world, a manifestation of the rebellion in your psyche called a persona, and in doing so, figure out how to stop people with extremely twisted, evil desires, and use that power to help people around you who need you. Each character who joins your party will get a persona. Each one is unique, based on a famous rebel or outlaw from history, and each persona is representative of the person who commands it.
If that sounds complicated, that's because it is. But don't worry, it won't be so intimidating in-game. In our experience, there are two kinds of Japanese games. The ones with incredibly deep and intricate plots that you're left to piece together without much assistance from the game. You know, the ones that leave you going,
Die! What?
And the Japanese games with incredibly deep and intricate plots that explain everything to you in so much painstaking detail that if the game didn't have a big old M on the cover, you'd swear the intended audience was like 6 years old. Persona, the series as a whole, tends to fall in the latter category. If something doesn't make sense to you right away, don't panic. The game will explain it to you over and over and over and over until you could explain all the Neo-Jungian psychological themes in your sleep. So it's beautiful, the characters are lovable and unique, and the gameplay is supremely satisfying. But what makes it such a great game to play with your significant other? Well, partially, it's because you can decide together what to say, do, or how to respond to any given situation, and making those decisions together helps both of you become invested in the story and its characters and outcome. But beyond that, watching your little group of ragtag fighters transform into a full-on anime Avengers team-up is a lot of fun, and seeing those people join your group, become your friends, and seeing those friends interact with each other outside of life-threatening scenarios will keep both of you coming back for more, just to see who will join the group next, where the team will go on their next vacation, or who will open up a new secret about themselves to you. This is something you'll spend no small amount of time doing, but it can be the high point of your experiences together in Persona 5, something you'll really need to experience to understand fully.
One of my favorite parts about this game is that almost all the characters are capable of surprising you. They feel real and three-dimensional. They have struggles, moments of strength, weakness, and clarity. I guarantee that there will be a character that you will dislike or feel nothing for at first, but will completely change your mind about once you have spent more time with them, which is the mark of truly incredible characters and writing.
The dungeons are just as interesting as your time spent as a regular person, however, and we would be doing a bad job if we didn't explain why this is worth your time as well. Both the player and the watcher should be plenty excited to spend time dungeon crawling. The combat is stylish and strategic, and you can work together with your game-playing partner to decide which skills and attacks to use at different times. There are also puzzles and labyrinths to navigate in each dungeon, each one relating in some way to that dungeon's theme. These are also moments that should get the two of you working together to uncover the path forward. The dungeons would be a pain to explore if the music got on your nerves, though. Luckily, this isn't the case. The soundtrack is incredible. Each track seems perfectly appropriate for the situation or location. It's also something that is fairly one of a kind, with an acid, jazzy flair to it that is fairly rare to find in video games. This music combines perfectly with the gameplay loop and visuals to create an experience that's impossible to put down, and will have both of you saying, "Just one more day, and then we'll go to sleep."
So, the next time you're looking for something to do with your significant other, but are bored of all your old Netflix shows, we highly recommend playing Persona 5 together. It will suck both of you in and not let go, leaving you glued to the screen until your year in Tokyo is over, which will then leave you like this. Now is a great time to check out the game too, with it being heavily discounted since its release in 2017. And if it's something you enjoy, there's even more P5 coming next year with the add-on content in Persona 5 The Royal. Also, let us know what you think of the game. We would love to hear the feedback of our first video. We will have more videos coming soon. Thanks for watching!